Hey everybody, welcome back. Friday Night Videos, Matsu-san. First, a few announcements. So the book is coming along. I know I keep saying that, but again, March is our date, our launching date, sometime in March. It's going along really nicely, guys. I can't wait to get this to you. I'm getting so much more and more excited as it's going to print. Because it's been cleaned up so nicely. Editing is such an important part of this process. So if you're writing a book, don't be like me, where you think you just kind of write it and all of a sudden send it off to a proofreader, make sure the grammar and the spelling's okay, and then all of a sudden you get it printed. You can do that, but I got to tell you, editing has made a huge difference in the flow of how this information is provided for. And I want to thank my main editor on this whole thing, and she's the one who's made this thing look so beautiful, is Amber Fennell Adams. So thank you so much, my dear. I appreciate you. Okay, on to today's topic, pleasure and pain. You know, many years ago, God, God, that was like in my early 30s. In my early 30s, actually longer than that. I'm 45 now. But I got into Anthony Robbins. Oh gosh, yeah, in my mid-20s, I got into Anthony Robbins. And one of the things he used to talk about all the time, or not all the time, one of his topics was pleasure and pain. And he said that we do things out of pleasure and we move away from things because of pain. Now, when I listened to that, that sounded really cool. And it was like, well, yeah, of course, that makes a lot of sense. But after working with years of 15 years now, wow, working with clients and going deep into the trenches of their issues and their challenges and, you know, their own personal hells. Although I do love Anthony Robbins, I still adore his stuff. And I was actually reading stuff about him the other day, and I got his new book. I totally adore the guy. But I have to disagree a little bit about the idea that we do things out of pleasure and move away from things because of pain. I've learned throughout the years that working with clients, many times actually, they'll move away from pleasure because they don't think that they deserve it, and they'll actually move toward pain because they think that they do deserve it. So many times they'll sabotage their pleasure by going to some kind of painful reality. And so I mean, I don't think it's absolute either way. I mean, definitely. What I do notice that is after we clear up a lot of the emotions and all the sets, sensations, emotions, and thoughts that have to do with their challenges, then that pleasure and pain, the way Anthony Robbins spoke about, starts to become more true. We start moving more towards pleasure and moving away from painful things. But also, I just want to point out, these are two opposite sides of the coin, right? They're on very far sides of the coin. And both of them, they're not bad. They're actually both very good for you, even the pain. But here's the thing. Many times we hold on to pain simply because we're holding on to an emotion or a conditioned way of living, a programmed way of living. And since we hold on to it, it's in our focus, we kind of move toward it. And the trick is, if you've been watching all my videos and read the book coming up, Life is the Perfect System, I talk a lot about this. Not necessarily about pleasure and pain, but excitement and fear. But it's really the same thing. Okay, I just lost my train of thought. Where was I? Oh, okay. So they're both extremes. Sorry about that. I just had a mental gap. Okay, so they're both extremes. But remember, the extremes, once you fully move through them, constructively move through them, experience them, feel them, without necessarily acting on them. You don't want to actually act on an extreme emotion unless your life's in danger. Once we experience them fully, and then we can finally cleanse that energy, and then we can finally release the conditioning and the programming that came with it. And the same thing with pleasure. We don't want to stay consistently on the pleasure side. Both of these states, pleasure and pain, are here to guide us. And once we can fully feel and express the extremes, we'll be able to step back from the emotions embedded inside those extremes, and we'll be able to look at both sides and see exactly what they're here for. And they're here to guide us. They're here to guide us, really. So don't try to run away from pain and try to run to pleasure. Instead, clear the emotional energies, or the sets, as I like to say, that have been attached to either of the extremes, so that you can come back to center and balance and see the entire picture and see what these extremes are for. And they're here to guide us. So, short one today. Anything else I need to tell you? I don't think so. All good. Please, if you want to continue this discussion further, then visit me at mattsison.com, M-A-T-T, S as in Sam, I, S as in Sam, O, N as in Nancy.com. And if you want to keep up on my writings and the blogs, it's mattsison / or is it backward slash? I don't remember. One of those slashes, blog. And I moved everything from the Perfect Affirmation, because we're now eliminating that name. So everything's going to go on all the blogs are going to go on mattsison.com blog. And then instead of the Perfect Affirmation, which has transitioned now into the Reflective Transformations, that site will be up soon. Thank you very much. Remember, live spiritually, but with practicality.